Spontaneous speaking video 54. What's good, everyone? So today's concept that I would like to share with you guys is a concept that I like to call the Twitter effect. It's been something that I've actually realized maybe for a few months now, and it's just been growing, especially while I was in Ghana. And then a certain incident happened, and I was like, this is pretty interesting, and it caused me to think about a whole bunch of other stuff, which I will try and share in the best way that I possibly can with you guys to help you understand. So, as you guys already know, or should know, or now you will know, I have a Twitter account. I've had it for a few years now. One of my friends told me that I have so much to say. Shout out to you, Kofi, if you watch this. And he said that it would be really good for me to get one. So I was like, okay, sure, why not? I think I got it back in 2012 or 2011. And, I just started, like, tweeting my mind on there pretty much. Kind of like what I do here on YouTube. Like, literally everything that I say in my spontaneous speaking videos and all of that, I did it. They didn't even have threads back then on Twitter. But, like, I would just post a whole, like, Twitter sermon. I literally had people getting saved on Twitter. Like, I would post out the repentance prayer and everything, and people would like DM me and say like, yo, like I received Christ into my heart from what you said, and blah blah blah. It was great. Those were the glory days. And now I'm doing more of that stuff like in person, especially with my coaching, and here on YouTube as well, my videos and everything. But I say all that to say that back then, especially when I was like, I'm still very active on Twitter, but I don't put as many of my concepts and threads and stuff on there as I do here now, because this is my main method of doing that. However, every now and then I do still share my threads and, thoughts and everything on there in like a long-term form. And I realized that Twitter is interesting in the sense, and this could even go with like Instagram and other social media where you have like a following, but I've noticed this the most with Twitter, especially since Twitter is a spot where everyone pretty much like has like they're speaking literally their thoughts. Like on Instagram, you putting your pictures up, and like on Facebook, you're kind of like doing both pretty much. But like Twitter is like a place where like if you don't really have anything to say, then why are you really like on here? So one thing that I learned and realized about Twitter, or pattern that I realized, is that when I say, like when I go on my little rants, and I have like those threads, I'm always without fail. I always expect to lose at least about like 10 followers within the next 24 hours. And without fail, that's always happened, at least 10. And the first time that happened, the first couple of times that happened, I was thinking to myself, like, dang, I mean, I thought that I was, like, tweeting some really good stuff, like this thought and, like, this thought and blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just some stuff that I thought that, like, like, this was good stuff. But apparently, at least 10 people didn't like it, and it caused them to be like, what, I don't think I want to follow this guy anymore. And they unfollowed me. I don't check who those people are, stuff like that, it's whatever. But that was the wrong thought process to have at the time, and that's kind of like where this comes in. Because ironically, I figured out, so that was the wrong thought process for two reasons. Number one, it's often been said that you should never apologize for who you are. And I agree with that to an extent. Now, if you are some like crazy rapist, murderer, whatever, things along those lines, you should probably apologize, and you probably should try and find some help. But if you have certain thoughts, ideologies, and you just wanted to share those thoughts, ideologies, and everything, and people disagree with you, which we live in a world where not everybody's going to agree with everything that you say. I get dislikes sometimes on my videos, and I'm like, dang, I thought that I was like, once again, speaking this, but guess not. Okay, no problem. And it's just a way of life. Like, you have to, like, learn to accept it. Those people can choose to unsubscribe, or they can choose to continue to subscribe for more content. But the thing that I realized even more, the second thing, is that after that 24 hours, not only will I get 10 more followers, obviously it won't be the same that left, but I get 10 different followers plus more. And this has also happened time and time again. Every time that I would go on a Twitter rant, then, I'd lose at least 10 followers because at least 10 people didn't agree with what I had to say, or they thought that I presented it in the wrong way, or, stuff like that. However, then I have 10 different people come replace them, and probably even another 10 people who I did not have before. And so the way that I see this, that's what I call the Twitter effect. That little concept of speaking whatever you have to speak authentically, speaking your mind, unashamed, fearlessly, and just being your authentic self, speaking that, and then accepting that your follower count probably is going to go down. However, after maybe like a couple of days or so, because of those very same tweets that caused those followers to leave, you will now those followers will be replenished with new followers, and you'll probably get even more followers after that. Now, Twitter is not all about, well, to some people it is. To me, it's not really about followers. I feel like, especially being the type of person that I am, if I really wanted more followers on Twitter, and, everybody wants, like, more followers, but if I was, like, really, really focused on that, I know the exact things to tweet at the exact times and, like, how to word them and all of that to, like, get people, like, uproused and all of that. And I see a lot of people do the same techniques, but I just choose not to because my focus isn't really, like, reaching, like, 7 million followers and all of that, but it's more really to just really get my message out there and to, like, connect with people, kind of like on here. And I realized that in allowing myself to accept that, hey, this is who I am, this is what I think, people are going to unsubscribe, people are going to unfollow me, but at least I was staying true to myself. That has caused me to grow a lot. And then on top of that, being able to see how these followers are now, like, replenished pretty much, like that has also caused me to, like, have a whole bunch of, like, other thoughts, because the Twitter effect does not only happen on Twitter, but it transcends into our real life. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of people in life who guard what they say, who are afraid to speak out and speak their thoughts and everything, because like Twitter, in real life, when you speak your thoughts, when you start being vocal about what you believe and what you think and all of that, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to start to avoid you. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to think badly of you. You're going to make enemies. You're going to make haters. You're going to make all types of stuff. Shoot, somebody's probably hating on this video right now. And it's like, dang, all I'm doing is just speaking my thoughts. I'm just speaking my authentic self. I'm just speaking my mind and all of that. However, on the flip side, just like I said with the Twitter effect, those people who are, like, as you're growing more haters and, people who dislike you are trying to avoid you and all of that, you are also growing more followers. You're growing more people who are coming back, who are coming into your life and are being attracted to that energy that you're pushing out. They're being attracted to all of the things that you have to say. They agree with you. They're like, wow, I didn't think about things in that way. I want to start hearing more of these insights that you have. Unlike the people who left, I'm actually interested in what you have to say. And then now all of a sudden you found your niche. So this isn't a special video, so let me just make sure that I'm not going completely off topic. And let me check my notes real quick. So give me a second. So yeah, pretty much the more of your thoughts you release, the more followers you will lose. But also the more you will gain. And then in the same sense, the more of your authentic self you show, the more people who may avoid and leave you, but also the more people you will attract. And those are the right people. Now, there's a caveat to this. There's a caveat to many things. This doesn't mean, or this is not really an excuse to be a jerk and just say, oh, well, that's how I am, and, yada, yada, yada. This isn't like a license to, just have a static behavior. I've seen so many people, and I've made videos on this, complacency. The video about this is just the way I am, like, or God is still working on me. If you want, you guys can go look at those videos as well. But pretty much what I'm saying is that what I'm saying with this Twitter effect is not to accept that you have an attitude problem, or that you are crazy, or that you pretty much just suck as a person. Like, you have a bad you have bad habits and like bad behaviors and all of that, and the right people will be able to handle me and accept that. No. This, if you haven't realized, this YouTube channel is a YouTube channel to help everybody, including myself, to become better versions of ourselves every day. So you, as a person, you who's watching, you should already be on a journey to continue to better yourself every day. And if you're trying to better yourself every day, you will not be comfortable. You will not accept the fact that you have an attitude problem, or that you're self-centered / selfish, or that you do this or you do that, or whatever the case may be. You will not just comfortably sit there and be like, that's just how I am. If you can't deal with it, I guess you're not a real one. No. If anything, you'll continue to work on those things that are not the best traits that you have. But as you work on those traits, and just like I even said in my other latest video, using other people as mirrors, as you work on those traits, then you are becoming a better person, and you will continue to speak your mind and everything. And those things that you project, those things that are your authentic self and don't really have, any reflection of like your bad traits or anything like that, if those things are the things that cause people to like leave you, but then you attract people who actually like the content that you're pretty much offering, that's good. That is great. I highly encourage you to continue to go ahead and do that. And lastly, I just want to share a verse with you guys. It's 1 John 2:19. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would have continued with us. But they went out that it might become plain that they all are not of us. That was very confusing. So I'm going to read it again. And this time just pay close attention to the wording. If you have a Bible somewhere, then you can go ahead and blow the dust off of it. And then open up to 1 John 2:19. It's in the New Testament. And there's a John, and then there's a 1 John. And there's a 2 John too. I think there's a 3 John. But yes, 1 John chapter 2, verse 19. And I'll read it again. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would have continued with us. But they went out that it might become plain that they all are not of us. What does this mean, Denzel? It's just a complicated verse. Well, what this pretty much means is, in context, it's referring to the kingdom of Christianity, God's kingdom. That there's a lot of, fake Christians out there, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know this. Like, there's a lot of people who say, like, oh, yeah, I'm a Christian, but God is up in heaven. Like, who are you? Like, they don't really have a relationship with God. They're still, everybody does wrong, but they're, like, deliberately doing wrong, Like, God knows the difference between a pig who falls into the mud or jumps into the mud and it's like, well, since I'm here, I'm just gonna roll around and get dirty and all of that, and a sheep who accidentally falls into the mud or may fall into the mud like here and there, and after realizing what they've done, then they rush to go and get cleaned up by the farmer. Like, God sees the difference between that, and pretty much what he's saying is that he's separating the pigs from the sheep. And speaking in clearer terms, he's pretty much saying that Christians who we thought were Christian, but then they ended up turning their back, or they stopped believing, or whatever the case may be, they left us because they were never with us to begin with. And Andy Mineo said this pretty much in a song too. His song Uncomfortable. in his album Uncomfortable, and he's a great rapper. You guys should check it out. But he said it, if they jump in ship now, then they were never on board. That's what I think about the Twitter effect. If you are tweeting things about yourself, about who you are, your thoughts, your ideologies, and people are starting to like unfollow, leave. If you are projecting that energy in person, and you have friends who are like, I don't really vibe with you like that anymore, whatever. If they're leaving, I feel like this verse can also apply to that. If they jumping ship now, they were never on board. They left from us so they could show us that they were never of us to begin with. They were never really family. They were never really part of us to begin with. However, as they leave, now you're making space. You're clearing up more space for the people who are actually supposed to be there to come into your life. And everything is just seeming to like branch together, like it's coming into my mind. But I made a video last year, I believe it was last year, or the year before, on seasonal friends. And you guys can check out all of these videos if you like go down my YouTube channel and everything. But I pretty much talked about this. Like, like there's some people who like they'll come into your life, for a season, feel like for like maybe like a month, maybe even for a year or two. But then eventually like their time is expired and they go. But we'll all have like hopefully have like at least one or two lifelong friends. And I think that those are the ones that you hold on to like very, very deeply. And pretty much all of this to say, just to wrap up the whole thing, the Twitter concept, the Twitter effect concept, just in case if it got mixed up like the whole time, is the idea of speaking your mind, speaking and being your authentic self, and people leaving you due to that. People abandoning you, avoiding you, whatever the case may be, unfollowing you, starting not to like you, becoming your enemy, hating on you, stuff like that. For you being yourself and speaking yourself and projecting yourself. But in doing that, you will attract, at the same time as they're leaving, other people are walking into the room. So like, hey, yo, what's that music that's playing? Like they like that music. The other people don't like it. They're leaving. And everybody has their preferences. That's what it is. But as those people are leaving, the other people who actually do like the music, the energy that you're sending out, they're coming in. And those are the people that you have to value. So don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid of, oh man, I'm going to lose followers, or I'm going to lose subscribers, or whatever it is, and then pretty much stifle who you are and yourself and your well-being, your ideologies, all of that. Do not be afraid of that just because of your fear of people leaving. Be yourself, continue to be authentic, continue to present yourself well, and the more that you do that, the more quality relationships that you'll bring, the more quality followers that you will bring, the more quality that you'll be putting out, because that's you, and you can only put out what is in here. So yeah, I think that's about everything. And for those of you who want to follow me on Twitter, look up DEEZY _2_blessed, or not, whichever you want to do. Check out the other videos that I mentioned if you want, or not, whatever you want to do. Subscribe and share with some friends if you want to. Whoa. But okay, but pretty much I think that's about it. Done.